Hi there, welcome back. It's Hélène with another video. If you are new here, welcome. Nice to have you. I am bringing you a wrap-up of my brand new focus on Smashbox. So what I have here is all the products I used over a 12-day period, technically 13, I'll explain in a second, and kind of a review now that I've used almost 2 weeks worth of these products, and also a frequency of use. So you get a sense of, okay, I'm giving you a review, but how often did I use these products? So we'll go through face products, eye product, lip products, and hopefully you will find this somewhat useful. So I checked on the website this morning, and Smashbox products that I'm going to go over are all still on the Smashbox website, which is fantastic. There's nothing that's discontinued that I know of. And so it's nice to be able to get some of the products if you are so interested. And I'm going to say that overall, the products performed as I expected, with a few surprises, but on the whole, I did get what I was thinking I was going to get, which is great. Okay, so I have my trusty book here with, can you see? There we go, with all my stats that I have. If you're not familiar with this effort, you can see a playlist in my videos on my channel. I have done a number of different brands so far: Urban Decay, Tarte, Lorac, Too Faced, some Cover FX, some Benefit, and am I missing anybody? I think I've got them all. So I just started this a few months ago, and actually my channel is not very old, but I started this a few months ago because I thought I would like to grab everything I have in my collection so far from a given brand and just use that brand for a number of days. And I don't specify the number of days. It could be, I could get sick of something in 3 or 4 days and just stop. So far though, the number of days have been 12 or 21 days. And sometimes I'm looking forward to the 12 days being done, but I think that if I can, I'd rather keep using a brand for longer than shorter, because I think that the impressions are better and my real thoughts about a brand are solidified by using the products for a longer period of time. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's go through just as we would apply products for the most part. I figured I would go from face products to eye products and then to lip products. So let's get into it, and I'll give you a sense of how often I used each one of these products. So we're going to go first off with primers, and for primers, I used at most any given primer 3 days, and the reason being there are a couple days where I did not use primer, in part because I forgot, or I was trying to cycle through 4 of them, and so I couldn't really use one primer more than 3 days if I was going to give other primers a shot. So here are the primers I used, a couple of samples, actually 3 samples and one really big travel size. Big travel size sounds weird, but compared to samples, they're pretty big. So I used the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer sample. Hello, there we go. I used that one 3 times. I also used the Pore Minimizing Primer. This is the first one I started with, actually. And I have to say that I had to stop myself from continuing to use it. I think I have 3 or 4 more uses in here. There's like a week's worth in this sample. It's amazing. This one only lasted me 3 days. I was finished by then. I also used the Photo Finish, the basic Photo Finish primer, which is basically just a silicone, come on, just a silicone base, there we go. And then finally, the Photo Finish primer, ooh, things are falling off here, primer in light. Okay, so out of the 4, what did I think? Well, they fundamentally do different things. I thought that the primerizer was really cool because what it did was act not only as a primer but also a moisturizer, which was a really nice, if you have dry skin, I think that that's something that you would like. I really liked the pore minimizing, but I had just finished using quite a bit of the Benefit product, the Professional from Benefit, and I like the Professional, and so I think I had a bit of a bias to this one. Here's what I'm going to say. I think I like the Benefit Professional better, but it may be because I was applying all the characteristics that I wanted from the Professional to this one. And so I'm going to keep using it and see over time what I really think about it. So I'm a little bit on the fence as far as which one I like better. And I have another Professional sample waiting in the wings, and I might just use them alternate days just to see what it is I like about this one versus the other one. Okay. Long time on primers here. And then what I'm going to say is, compared to the regular Photo Finish Primer, I actually prefer the Photo Finish Primer Light, and I like it because it's less of that slippy silicone feel, and so I prefer this one over the other one. But so if I had to pick one, this is the one I would use. There's no problem with this this other guy, but it's just not my favorite. The next thing that I would put on is the Camera Ready CC Cream. Now this one was color matched for me at Sephora, have the color light. I like this product. I like the fact that there's an SPF in it because I'm freaking lazy when it comes to SPF. And I would also, based on this, like to try their BB cream. Now I have Maybelline BB cream that I'm using that also has SPF, and I like it. So I wouldn't mind trying a sample of the Smashbox BB cream. This one is more coverage than I'm used to wearing. I'm wearing a very, very light application today, and so you see some of my color coming through. But it does, if I put it full on, it does certainly cover dark spots and even the skin tone, but it doesn't feel so much like a CC cream. It really feels like a full-blown, full coverage foundation. But I guess it's buildable is what it comes down to. So would I keep using, because I won't repurchase, I mean, this thing is pretty full. Would I keep using? Absolutely. I certainly will. And it is the summer, so I figure I'll cycle through all three of my SPF containing color skin products. Next up, I would suggest that cream contour would be it. And so I have the 3 contour sticks from Smashbox, and I use these guys. I use the bronzer twice, the contour twice, and the highlight 3 times. And I did not use them all the time because I find that the tip is rather small. And I'll just give you the contour one too, just so that you can see a little bit darker there. Yeah. I find them rather small, but they're great for precision work. So contouring around the nose, contouring just under the lip to give a little bit more fullness to the lip. They're very, very creamy. So it's very possible to contour, to contour the cheek, to contour the forehead, to bronze the cheek and the forehead. There's no issue with that, but I would rather, because these are pricey little suckers, I would rather use them for precision work, save them for precision work, and use my bigger sticks that are cream sticks for the rest of my contouring needs. The highlighter was really nice when I wanted a more dramatic nose and Cupid's bow highlight. This was, and brow bone highlight too, by the way. This one was really nice because it just gave quite a pow to the highlighting powder that I put over top. So they're really nice. I like them. I'm really getting into cream contour products, and I will definitely use those going forward. Now the next thing I guess would be face products, and I'll get through this one right away. I only used this contour palette once, and I'll explain why. And it comes with a nice, some directions here, which is great. I only used this once, and the reason I only used it once is that I wanted to test whether the contour products in here, I should turn around, in here are the same as what is in the Shape Matters palette. And I really think that I convinced myself, at least myself, that these are the same. And these are matte contour items. They're basically the powder version of the pencils I just showed you. And then in the Shape Matters palette, and I'm going to lose the brush, so I'm going to take it out right now. In the Shape Matters palette, which I'm holding upside down so you can see without being blinded by the mirror, you'll see 4 contour products, and they're all matte except for this one right here, which is called Glow. It's a very nice subtle highlight that pretty much anyone who doesn't want like a really bam highlight can use. Of course, I'm not an expert on skin tones. I'm sure there are some people it won't be okay for, but I would think that it would cover quite a number of people. Now, so I stopped using this this palette because I can really use this with any other brand, and it's great for travel. If I don't choose to bring the Smashbox palette, then I have a small contour palette that I really like. And speaking of contour palettes, before I get into the Smashbox Shape Matters palette, I'm going to just cover this one as well, which is the highlight palette. And so I have the Spotlight palette in Pearl. There are 2, by what I understand, 2 versions of the highlighter palette. This is for lighter skin. And these are the 3 highlighters. And I used 2 of the 3. So I used Turn It On Pearl, and I also used Crank It Up Pearl. Now I did not use Blow a Fuse Pearl because it is super, super shimmery, and I think that I would end up using it, and I didn't. I'm kind of kicking myself because I should have. It's really shimmery, and I just didn't want to use that on my cheek. I had more serious, less glam stuff to do over the last couple weeks. It's really sparkly. It's all over my hand now. I had more kind of serious toned down stuff to do over the last couple weeks. I didn't have any big glam evening out. If I had, I probably would have tried it. But now, yeah, I am kicking myself because it would have been really nice on the inner lid, I think. It would have really have added a punch to some of my looks, and so I will definitely try that. You can get away with a lot more on the eyes, I think, when it comes to shimmer than we can anywhere else on the face. So that is my thoughts on it. I think it's beautiful. Am I going to bring that traveling if I'm not bringing the larger Shape Matters palette for the Glow highlight? Absolutely. I think these 2 are fantastic for travel, and that's what I'm going to bring, I think. I don't see why I would bring anything else at this point based on what's in my collection. Now, moving on, I think I'm going to go straight to the Shape Matters palette, and I'm going to talk first off about the brush. So here's the brush that I removed because I didn't want to have it go all over the place. So this is the brush. And on the other side, sorry, my hands are really dry. So this is more of a fluffier brow brush, and this is a very fluffy brush as well. And I think what they were trying to do, and I'll show you compared to the other brush I have from the Shape Matters Eyes palette, you will be better able to see the difference here. Look at the 2 brush heads. The bigger one is in the Shape Matters kind of full palette, and the one on the other side, so I guess your right is a big fluffy one and your left is the smaller one. The smaller one is the Eyes brush. And I think what they tried to do, this is them from the side, was to give a fluffy brush with the idea that we would even try to contour with it. And I don't know anybody who would contour with a brush like this. It's kind of ridiculous. So I would rather they have provided a brush similar to the one in the Eyes palette for more detail work, because you really can't do any detail work with something that big on the eye. You can do an all over the lid color, but you can't really get into the corners. I mean, I guess you could use your fingers or whatnot, or maybe they think we're going to use this brush, but other than some liner, I don't think I can really use that brush other than for brows. Now, I did use this brush for brows today, and I did try to use the brushes provided with the palettes as much as I could during this 12-day view. And I did. I would use this brush for like all over the crease, all over the lid type of stuff, but I would just go to my other brushes in my collection to finish up the work. Or I opened up the Shape Matters Eyes palette to go get that brush to finish up some stuff, because it was a lot more possible to do it. I'll show you the other tip since we're on the brushes, the tip for the Shape Matters Eyes palette. And that is, it's a much nicer liner brush. The other one from the Shape Matters face palette is more for brows. It's a lot, like if we go side by side, you'll see it's a lot thicker than the one for eyes only. And so this one was quite nice for liner. It gave me a lot of precision. And I liked it better. Okay, so moving on, let's go into the palette itself. So you'll notice, and I did cover this in the intro to this 12 days, but I'll do this again. So there's the wax, and then there are two colors for the brows. I'm wearing the darker on the 2/3 outer half of, outer 2/3, I should say, of my brow. I'm using a mixture of the dark and the light toward the inside. What I did was mix the wax with the dark color, focusing on my outer brow to kind of fix down those hairs, and I have less of a problem toward the inner third. And then I just used powder, the dark and the light combined, and I thought it worked quite well. Hopefully my brows are okay right now. So I liked that. I tended to do my brows first before moving into the eye. Now, when it came to the eye products, I did use sometimes this highlighter as a full base for the eye, because a lot of the eyeshadows in this palette are shimmer. They're just a couple of mattes, and so I kind of wanted to use the matte highlight because I would use that powder a whole lot less than the other contour powders, and so I'd be saving my eyeshadow a little bit more because the pans are smaller, and I would tend to, I think, use more of the light eye products than I would of the dark eye products. I hope that makes sense. So that's how I'm kind of strategizing my use of this palette. Now, going into, I think I've covered the contour products. I like them. I will continue using them. I like the smaller palette for travel as well. If I do bring this palette though for travel, it is quite sizable, but when you think it's got your brow, your highlighter, your contours overall, and then a fair number of eyeshadows, like 9 eyeshadows, not bad at all. I would definitely only bring those products and maybe one other eyeshadow palette as a complementary palette, but I wouldn't bring any other contour or brow products. I think this palette does a great job, and I don't want to blind you, but on the other side, just imagine the mirror is the same size as this. I mean, it's a very big mirror, which is great, again, for travel. So if we look at the eyeshadows only in here, you will see a significant number of colors. Now, I used all of the shadows except for the black. This aubergine color here, the purple is quite beautiful. The brown does pack a punch. I really enjoyed the shimmers in here. There is a platinum shimmer. There's one called Posh here. There's also, I think this is the champagne that I used a couple of times in my inner lid. All of these were very pretty. I enjoyed the Totally Nude. It is pinker than it might look. And then the vanilla and stripped were nice for base shades. And to me, the vanilla is very similar to this matte highlighter, although the highlighter was more drying to me than the vanilla was on the eye. So I think I would also want to default to the vanilla if I'm not using a decent eyeshadow primer. Now, speaking of eyeshadow primer, I'll just mention, as I put the brush back, I will just mention what it is that I used for eyeshadow primer, which is this 24-hour eyeshadow primer from Smashbox. Do I like it? Yes, a little bit is all you need. It really does cover the eyelid well. It stays mildly tacky so that the eyeshadow base that you choose does really stay on whichever powder you choose to do first off, to help you with the rest of the eyeshadows that you're going to use on the eye. I'm definitely going to keep using it. Is it my favorite? I'm not super picky on eyeshadow primers. I mean, I'm even using like a Laura Mercier caviar stick as a primer sometimes that I've got in my project pan. I'm not a connoisseur of them. I'm not really picky on them, so I'm really not the right person to ask, but I have it. I'll continue using it. I have no concerns, no problem with it. And I don't tend to get a whole lot of creasing problems on my eyes, so I think that a better judge of that would be someone who really does need to use a primer and what their thoughts are. So that's the Shape Matters palette, the full palette, and I just wanted to offer that I used the Shape Matters large palette 12 times, and I used this challenge was 12 days, right? I used it every day, and eyes specifically, I used 8 times. So meaning that I used the eyeshadows in that palette 8 times, despite also having this Shape Matters mattes for eyes as well. So I went over the brushes, I won't do that again, but I do want to show you what the mattes eyes palette looks like. Now you would think that there's quite a bit of overlap between the Shape Matters palette and this one, and I think the only one is Vanilla that is the same. I'm just doing a quick look here. Yeah. So it's only the Vanilla. So this shade here that is a duplicate out of the 2 palettes. So I mean, not bad at all. I liked the cooler tones, I liked the warmer tones. I used all the shades on this side. I used most of the shades on this side. The only one I think I didn't use is black. Can you see a theme here? I don't tend to use black eyeshadow. I think if I'm going to do black, chances are that I'm going to use a black liner as opposed to powder, and I don't tend to use black to smoke out an eye. And I really had no need, because the blackberry here and the black plum here were dark enough that I was able to get pretty much any look I wanted, as well as the Sumatra was dark enough to that I really didn't need to reach for the black. And I think that it is possible that it's there for a smoky eye to go with the gray, these guys, but I just didn't go for a smoky eye. Most of my my looks were specific to daytime wear mostly. They're all matte, they're fine, they work fine. I didn't think I would like it, to be honest, as much as I do, but you've got quite an array of products here, and what they've done too is they really coupled the shades in couplings that would work. I didn't use those couplings necessarily, but it is nice. It would be a newbie friendly palette to use, so I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this palette for someone who tends to be partial to mattes. So how often did I use this palette? I used it. So the eyes, specifically the eyes, I use that palette half the time, so 6 times total. And when you hear, you know, I used the Shape Matters, the big palette, 8 times, and I used this one 6 times, you can tell that there were a number of days where I had overlap, where I used some eyeshadows from both. Now there is one other set of eyeshadows that I used as well, which was the Golden Hour Duo that I received as a sample, a Smashbox sample, and those are right here. These are the 2. So I used those a few times, I think a total of 4 times. Let me just check. Yeah, the Golden Hour Duo I used 4 times, not together, usually separately. I used the more pinky shade on the inner lid, the darker shade on the outer lid when I did choose to use them, and it was nice to get a little extra punch of shimmer for shades that I had no equivalent of in those 2 palettes. So the Golden Hour really helped me stretch the use of those 2 other palettes. And really, the Golden Hour is a one of those little Smashbox 8-pan palettes. The name escapes me right now. They're shots, cover shots, something like that. Anyway, I do think that the Golden Hour and Ablaze are 2 that have really nice color combinations. I haven't really checked out the brand new ones, but those I think are quite nice, and the use of that duo has confirmed it for me that they're quite nice colors. So very happy to have had those. So let's see where I'm at. I think that I am now at lip products, which is probably my favorite. I did not have a mascara from Smashbox, and I also did not have an eyeliner from Smashbox. And the whole idea is to use what I have and to minimize the purchase of additional stuff. So I won't have anything to offer there. But on the lips, I use 3, 7, 10, nope, 11, looks like, different lip products. And so let me just go through the individual ones that I have here. So the one that I've had the longest is this. Now it's a Be Legendary Bullet, but I got it as a sample, and there's quite a bit in it. And it's a beautiful color. It turns out, it looks more pink, but it turns out more like rust color on the lips, at least for me. And this is the one out of the whole bunch, which surprised me, that I used the most. I think I used this one I used this one 4 times. Actually, I'll swatch it for you, because that way you can see how it's kind of different from what's in the tube. Actually, it looks more pink here, but when, I guess my lip color, when I put it on my lips, it looks more rust. I really like it. It looks really nice, and I will continue to use it. Obviously, I liked it if I used it 4 times. Now, this other one is Mauve Wife, and this came from the Give Me More Lip favorites from Sephora. I still have all this sparkle from the Spotlight highlight that was so sparkly. And this is Mauve Wife. And I was disappointed in Mauve Wife. Here's why. I wanted more of a purple undertone, and it turns out to be more of a brown. And so I actually put this one on. It was June 13th, I think. I put this one on, and I looked at it, and I went, that's the wrong color. And I changed it out for Bad Bee, because it wasn't the color I was expecting on my lip. Now that I know that it pulls more to the browns, well, at least I'm advised, and I'll wear it when I want more of a brown. But it is not mauve. Just a note there. Another one that I use, this is my newest one, is the Smashbox Vlada collab in the shade In Bloom. I'll just swatch that one too for you. Oh my God, is this beautiful. It makes me think a bit of Petal Metal, although it's got more of a rosy tone. This is it right now, right there. And it is beautiful, and the staying power. Try to get this stuff off your lips. I have wanted to try an Always On from Smashbox, but like I said in my last video, was that I can't pay $28 for a lipstick. This was $19, and so I was willing to try one, something from the Vlada collection, and then the Always On. It is absolutely fantastic. I think I'm going to let it dry, and if I remember, I'll just show a rub test and show you how well it stays. It was really, really a nice product. Now, I also have the Be Legendary Vault to show you in a second, but I'm going to go over a disappointing product first. It is the Crimson Lip Pencil, and this is what gotta twist it. Ooh. It's been falling out. This is what it looks like, and I'll just do a swatch for you. This is it right here. This thing sucks. I tried to use it, and if you go to my uploads, the video dated June 14th, published on June 14th, I am wearing this thing. I put it all over my lips. It was hell to put it on. And because it was so dry, I wasn't able to put it on properly. And so I ended up having to use a Maybelline crayon and another red lipstick on top of it just to make it work for the video. And I am, spoiler alert for my empties, I am going to declutter this thing. It's a piece of crap. Now, I don't know if they are all this dry. I tried to sharpen it to give it a chance, because maybe it was just because the top layer was dry, so I cut a good chunk off of it, and it was still the same. It's terrible. I don't know if I got a dud, but if not, this lip pencil type stinks. So I'm so in a hurry to get rid of this thing. I love the color, but I have a Wet n Wild that cost me $1, a big pencil that works a whole lot better than that thing. And I did get that one out of another Sephora Favorites. It was the full size. Let me get you that Wet n Wild so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I have it here. Now, of course, it's not exactly the same color, but it is $1. And I'm just going to put it closer to the other lip swatches. So the first one is the Smashbox, and this next one over is the Wet n Wild. Pretty similar. Now, it may, like I said, may not have the same staying power, but, you know, this one doesn't hurt, glides on like a dream, and I just don't see why I would keep the Smashbox one. All right, last one. I won't swatch all of these. This is the Legendary Vault. I love all of these colors. There's only one out of the whole bunch that I did not use, which is Brick Trick. I am shocked because this is one that I thought I was going to gravitate to. And what I found was that this one, when it's on my lips, which is what I have on right now, kind of looks like this color. So I'm getting what I want, but this must be a whole lot darker. These lipsticks do end up quite dark on the lip compared to what they are in the tube, so be advised about that. And I used each one of these, except for Brick Trick, which I just pointed out, at least one time. The one that I used, the two that I used twice are Petal Metal, which is, I believe, is also part of the Vlada collab, and then Foiled Brat. I did not think that I was going to go for this one so much. I really thought that these two were going to be the winners for me. Holy cow! It's gorgeous! Okay, I'll swatch one. Last swatch, I promise. Okay, let's go over here. Now, my only comment about these, they are beautiful, but they do collect. If you have any sort of edge of the mouth that just kind of connects together, and like if you've had split lip at all, it will tend to pool there, so I find myself just wiping off the edges. The color is beautiful, the colors are beautiful, but they are more high maintenance. If you don't have time to deal with your lipstick in a given day, this is not what I would suggest. They don't have long-lasting power. They're definitely on your lips for show. They come off on your teeth on a regular basis. But the colors are beautiful. And I just checked my teeth to make sure I didn't have lipstick on my teeth. So that tells you you do need a compact. You need to check your lipstick once in a while. If you accidentally brush your lips, you could smudge it. So it is higher maintenance, but for the right occasion, it's worth the extra effort, and I will definitely keep wearing them. And they are so comfortable on the lips. Usually a metallic lipstick won't be all that comfortable, but that one is great. And speaking of metallic lip, I did mention this one already, talked about it a lot. I'm a big fan, and I said I would wipe it down if I remembered, and I did. So, of course, I have other, so I don't know if you can tell, I'm wiping, and it's staying really well. There's just a little bit off, but I tried after wearing it for a full day, and I had put 2 coats on. I ended up having to use baby oil to get it off. Regular waterproof makeup remover would not let that in bloom, that always on, come off. And that makes me very excited and makes me want to try more, if I can get them for less than $20. Makes me want to try more of that Smashbox always on. The mattes are really exciting to me. They tend to slay lip products, and so I'm not surprised that I like this. I'm a little disappointed I like it that much because I really want more. But I'm definitely going to keep using all of my Smashbox lipstick products. I just may steer clear of the lip liners. If you do have lip liners from Smashbox and they work for you, could just let me know in the comments that I didn't get a dud, because it's really disappointing. I really like all of the other products, but that one was just such a disappointment. Anyway, let's end on a nice note. I like or love the majority of these products. I will continue to use them. They are extremely safe. If I only have 5 minutes to do my eyes, I don't worry about putting it on. Same thing with the SPF 30 Camera Ready CC cream. It takes just a few minutes to put on. It's very, very quick. The eyebrow products shocked me. I did not mention that earlier. I used them all 12 days. Loved what they did for my eyebrows, especially the tail. I tend to have trouble with that because it's thinner than the rest of my eyebrows, but they seem to be filled up quite nicely. I'm a big fan of these products more than I was before. I knew I liked the lipsticks, but I'm now just a bigger fan of the eyeshadows in general. Are they super sexy, super colorful? No, but you can make some pretty decent looks with them. So 12 very good days. I wasn't kind of like waiting to the end. I was enjoying the products pretty much every day. The variety of lipsticks probably helped. But I would definitely recommend Smashbox products. And I think that for someone who is starting off or travels a great deal, the sturdiness of the packaging and what is in here, it's everything that you really need to do an eye and face look, save, of course, foundation. And yeah, I can't complain. These are really good products. And I enjoyed the time I spent with them. So there you have it. I hope you found the 12 days of Smashbox products review useful. I would love to know what your experience is with Smashbox, or if you're looking forward to trying some of the products in this brand, and if so, which ones. So please leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear. And also, if you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you like the content on this channel, I would love if you would consider subscribing. Anyway, that's it for me for now. And I will leave you by saying I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And in the meantime, take care. Bye now.